It is time to officially kill the paper lesson plan. I know. It's been a rite of passage since the Stone Ages for teachers to be required to fill in all these little boxes in a Microsoft Word document to submit to a shared file folder where they may or may not get some feedback on the lesson. And this has been just what we do as a routine in education. It's time to rest in peace, little lesson plans. And let me tell you why. As a teacher, I always felt like it was a gross waste of time for me to have to fill in all of these little boxes about what I was going to do in my classroom, only to turn around and then create a PowerPoint presentation that was student facing, where I would have to actually take what I would do, and flush it out for my students in the form of a presentation that they would see when they come into class that facilitates the lesson. Because I thought that was stupid, when I became a principal, I killed the lesson plan. My teachers had to submit their Google Slides, and what they did was very simple. They went into Google Slides and they created a different slide for each thing that would have been in the paper lesson plan. So, for instance, if the first part of your lesson plan says that you should determine what standard you're going to be focused on for the day, very well. We would go ahead then and say on the first slide, what's the standard going to be that we're focusing on in this lesson or in this week? And then from there, we would say what the daily objective is going to be. This is the student learning outcome. We would dive into what's the bell ringer or the hook going to be. No matter if you're using Madeline Hunter, if you're using 5E, there are about 4 things you should know about why we need to go ahead and kill these lesson plans that are wasting teachers' time. The first thing is teachers ain't got time for that. Yes, I am a professor of English, and I did say teachers ain't got time for that. We already know teachers were loaded down as it was prior to coronavirus and all of the changes in our schools, but now some of our teachers are doing double the work. They're trying to balance what they're going to do with their students that are synchronous and the students that are asynchronous, and how they're going to plan for both to make sure they're assessing everybody and be magical unicorns all the time. They don't have time for that. The second reason why you should kill the paper lesson plan is because, as an administrator, if I am looking at the actual slides that are going to be presented for students in the class, I get an opportunity to see what students will see as learners. And this is a better indication of what's going to actually be happening in the classroom than the teacher creating the lesson plan. I want to see as those changes happen, because they do when teachers are approaching the lesson or as they move from one class to the next. I want to be able to just tap in and see exactly what's going to happen and when it's going to happen. In the notes for each slide, that's an opportunity for you as the administrator to be able to see the teacher's notes that are not student facing, right? So the students might see, for instance, the directions for a small group breakout. Well, down in the notes, the teacher may have let me know as the principal what each group role is, or they may have expressed to me in the notes who's in what group based on ability, or however they're grouping the students, or whatever would have been in the lesson plan can be right there in those slides in the notes. The third reason why you need to totally just end your lesson plans on paper is so that you can join the 21st century. If my teachers are doing lessons in Google Slides, as you can see, I keep plugging Google Slides because it's going to allow me to give them feedback in real time. When teachers turn in a PowerPoint to me, or a Word document, that's fine too. But when I use Google Slides for my teachers, I was able to go into the folder that we already have shared, and I got to see this is let's say week 1. This is all the lessons for week 1. I click into the Google slide and I see Monday, and then it goes straight into whatever would have been in their lesson plan document. And so, as an administrator, if I see let's say the objective that they stated is not aligned to the first activity in the lesson plan that I see, I can instantly make a comment, instantly drop it right there in real time, and pose the question: how is this activity aligned to such and such a standard that you said you were focusing on for the day? In real time, when that teacher sits down and has time to look at her computer, she can respond to me instantaneously and say, well, actually, this is that. Or, oh, I didn't even realize that was off a little bit. Let me go back and revisit my standard and modify this activity. The fourth reason why we need to go ahead and kill paper lesson plans is just because teachers ain't got time for that. I know that was point number 1, and it's point number 4 because that's the point. Okay? If you have any questions, please feel free to head on over to the Fresh Classroom. You can send me any comments, concerns, questions that you may have. But what I hope you do is try to start thinking outside of the box and ask yourself, who are we really benefiting by having teachers do double duty and double work? Nobody. Because ain't nobody got time for that.
Fresh Chats with Dr. B is brought to you by thefreshclassroom.com. Are you ready to get fresh? If so, head to our website.